All right. Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada Action Funds, What's the Tea After Dark? This is a podcast where we talk about what's going on in Nevada, within government, and with local Nevadans. And we're here again at the beautiful, brand new West Las Vegas Library. My name is Laura Martin. I'm the Executive Director of Plan Action. And I'm so honored to be here today with our special guest, Las Vegas City Councilwoman Shondra Summers-Armstrong, representing Ward 5, which covers the historic Westside. With elections coming soon, today we will talk about elections and maybe even the transition from being a legislator to a city council member. So without much further ado, welcome, Councilwoman. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and thank you so much for inviting me here. And I'd like to welcome you again to the neighborhood. This beautiful facility is in Ward 5. We are so excited to have this amazing library here, especially after the recent passing of Ruby Duncan, just to see this homage to the work that she did, way back in the 70s to ensure that there was a library in this community is amazing. And we're just glad to be here.
Yeah, and I appreciate they have like the little setup for her so more kids can learn about and adults can learn about,
Ruby.
What she's done.
Yes, and I think that's really important because we need to know the history of our communities, why things are the way they are, and the names and the faces of the trailblazers who actually did the work for us to even have a library of this caliber in the neighborhood. She was foundational.
A long time coming. And also a shout out, I believe he's the executive director of the library, Kelvin. He put in a lot of work too.
He did. And he also spoke at her service on Saturday, and we saw him Friday night at her viewing. He has really embraced this community. He was intentional about what services were offered here and the facilities. And I think that just goes to show that when we know the people who are influencing our community and we bring people into the community to help move us forward, when they respect the work that was done before them, you get beautiful places like this as a result.
Okay. So how about you take a second to introduce yourself? How would you like people to know you?
I'm Shondra Summers-Armstrong. I am a mom. I have 3 sons, Brandon, Dexter, and Kieran. I'm a wife to Carl with a K, Armstrong. We've been married almost 32 years, and we have lived in this community for 27 years. We've been engaged for about 29. We bought our land in 97, but we didn't move in until 1999. But we've been staples in this community. I want people to know that before everything political, I was an activist. I was a regular lady in the neighborhood who cared about what was happening in my neighborhood, and that's how I got started. And so my relationship with the work is really from ground level. Nobody knew who I was in 2008 and 1999 and all those times when we were out advocating to improve things in our community. And I like that that's how I began. I think it informs the work. I want people to know that I care about the community. I want them to know that this is home, and that when you care about your home, you care about your neighbor, it determines how you work.
Okay. And for a little fun, what is your most controversial, non-serious opinion? Like, for example, I feel like people who say Mariah Carey doesn't have a good singing voice anymore should be jailed.
Okay. I haven't heard her sing without a tape lately, so I can't speak to that. Back in the day when she was hollering on MTV, just singing in the mic, she was killing it. I don't know what her ability is today, so I'm not going to get involved in that mess.
All right.
My most controversial thing, what I will say, is that pumpkin pie is squat, and that my mother's sweet potato pies are grade A, and if you don't like her sweet potato pies, don't come to my house.
All right, period.
Okay,
But you know what my dad puts in his sweet potato pie? Mashed banana. And it's actually pretty good.
All right, we got to have a chit chat with your daddy because I don't know about all that. I can tell you that my mom makes her sweet potato pies with eggs and whole milk and cream, and they're not stringy because she does her thing to them to make sure that they're not, and she makes her own crust. Ooh. Except when greedy people, which is my family, everybody loves the individual pies that she does, and so she buys the pre-crust ones that you buy at the restaurant supply, just because at the holidays she's doing like 30 and 40 pies.
Making pie crust is work.
It's work, but when it's just us, when she's just spoiling me and my sisters, which will be in August for our birthdays, we will have handmade crust.
Nice.
Yes.
So getting into the conversation, you obviously represent Ward 5 in the city of Las Vegas now, but previously you were the Assemblywoman for Assembly District 6. Yes. So other than the commute, what kind of made you want to make that change?
Oh, wow. The ability to be able to address community concerns firsthand on a daily basis. I never thought that I would be in the assembly. That was a stretch for me. I was approached by William McCurdy II. Hey, William, when he decided to run for county commission, and he asked me to consider it. It took me 2 weeks to talking to my husband every night, talking to my squad, my people about this, and it wasn't on my bingo card. I will say that it was probably the best thing that I could have done, because I think it gives you a perspective about law, about how the law affects our community on a daily basis. It gave me insight into criminal justice reform, how difficult it is. And I'm not a dumb person. I was a legal secretary by trade. I'm married to a dude who's a lawyer. So we've been in this space. I've worked in government. But to see the brass tacks, I think was really necessary. And I think it informed my advocacy. Y'all, I went up there fighting for stuff. People are like, what are you doing? I was like, well, this is what my people need. And so we were not always successful. We tried twice with housing reform for renters. We tried to work on folks with their PTO. Got my hand slapped on that one real good. And we've tried lots of things, but we were successful. We were successful with doulas and making sure they got paid through Medicare. We're able to get that initial bill and then a second bill for more pay for them. We were able to pass a bill in 23 to have cameras that families approve in care facilities because of one of the constituents in Assembly District 6 who lost her brother in COVID. And so we were successful. I signed on to some great legislation from my colleagues up there. So I'm proud of the work. But the reality is you pass a bill in Carson City and then you come home. Somebody else is responsible to ensure that your bill gets implemented. And that was the hard part. I'm such a nerd. I go up there, and after this first session is over, y'all don't laugh. I called the Legislative Council Bureau and said, all right now that we've gotten this passed, who's going to implement this? And they were like, ma'am, you have to wait for the department at the state to create the rules, and it has to go through this committee and that committee. And I was like, we did all this and now I have to wait? And they were like, yeah, you have to wait. And so that was clarifying. And so when the opportunity happened for me to do work locally, it's closer. If I have someone say to me, I'm being evicted or my landlord is not acting right, I have departments within the city and connections locally with advocacy groups that can immediately begin to address those things. So you get to see the work a lot faster and closer. Not always successful, but at least you can see movement faster. It's just different. Different work, but important work just the same.
And would you say also a difference is you have full-time staff in the city hall? Because I think that also is an unfair burden that legislators have. It's like, I don't think people understand you don't have a chief of staff in the legislature. You don't have a researcher, you don't have a press secretary. You're basically sharing one caucus staff member.
You have one caucus staff member that is between everyone that's in your caucus. So for us, it was 43 people when I was up there who were sharing a couple of folks. And so I've always, because I put out a newsletter and I, do certain things, I've always had to pay somebody out of my campaign funds to help me stay on top of things and keep my communication with the community active and relevant. But a lot of what we did was basically yourself. And that was one of the reasons why I decided to retire in 2022. I had a full-time job at the Regional Transportation Commission. I was a 26-year employee, and it was just too much. I wanted to be effective. I wanted to be present. And if I wanted to go to a breakfast, I'd have to take PTO. If I needed to leave early to go to North Las Vegas to a meeting, I'd have to take PTO. And for those folks who are serving that don't have contracts, I was lucky. I was in SEIU 1107. Shout out Michelle, my AC, and the crew. And we had rules, and we had a contract that allowed us to be able to take time off. There are people who don't have that. And so it allowed me a bit more agency, but there was a lot of timekeeping. I couldn't take a call during the day. If someone called me, I have to wait till lunch. I'd have to wait till after hours or crack of dawn in the morning. And it's a lot. And when you want to create your ideas to present BDRs, you're doing that yourself, right? And so it's great. At the city, I have 3 staffers. And when I tell you these folks work day and night, we did a year in review that we posted online. From June until June of 2025, when Ara, who's my keeps my calendar, joined the team, we did something like 400 and something meetings.
In 1 year?
No, just from June.
Oh my goodness.
Just from June.
That's amazing.
We did a whole, so if you go out on my social, it's out there. It's early and it's Friday, so I'm probably getting some numbers wrong. But even after all of that, we still had 60 requests for meetings that were pending at the end of the year. So we thought it would be helpful for the community to know what we're doing, so we'll do it again next year. But we work sometimes 7 days a week. 6 days a week is not uncommon for us to work the 4-day work week, attend meetings, community events on Fridays, Saturdays, and even Sundays. And one of the things that we've tried to be consistent about is from summer to the winter is to attend churches in the community, because there's lots of churches in Ward 5. But to make sure that people see us, it's a lot. But this is the work, right? If from my perspective, if I want people to know who I am, if I want them to believe in the policies, they got to see me. We got to be able to talk about them. They have to not see me just when they come to my office, but, they need to see me in the neighborhood at a random event, at their kid's school, at the park. I play tennis at Lorenzi, y'all. I mean, nice. I'm that chick. I'm, boots on the ground. So
do you feel like your approach to running for office, either when you decided to switch to Ward 5 or when you're first running for Assembly 6, do you feel like the approach you took, and you could describe it a little bit, helped you be an elected official and prepare you?
I think so. Some people don't know, and I'm going to tell you, that I actually ran for city council 3 times. I ran in 2007, had no idea what I was doing. Kieran was a little kid. We were pushing him in a stroller, knocking on doors with some little flyers that we had printed at home. Had no idea what I was doing. Got smashed. Stuff happens, but you learn each time. Second time in 2018 was a special election. The first time were like 12 people in the race. Second time, again, 10 or 12 people in the race. The second time was 2018. I was in Emerge. So I was going through training at the time and trying to run for office and had a full-time job. I lost again. I didn't get smashed, but I still lost, right? And so when you put yourself out there, there's no hiding. You have to take the good with the bad. You have to recognize that you are opening yourself up to the public and they get to inspect you. People are going to inspect your hair because y'all know I'm a kinky girl. Back in the day, I wore a fro all the time. They're going to inspect your clothes. I've worn these red glasses since 2017. I can't even change them because no one would know who I was and I love eyeglasses. I have like all kinds of colors. I can't wear them because my moniker now is the red glasses. But I think that people know me from those runs that were unsuccessful. They also know me from the work, from F Street, from advocating in my community. And so I think it's important that when people are running for office that they recognize you're under inspection. Get ready for that. But also that people are going to know you by the work that you do. There's a biblical, kind of methodology that says that, you will know a fruit by the tree that it bears. And if you are intending to be a public servant, that's two words. Mm-hmm. The first one is public, meaning your business is in the street. Mm-hmm. And the second one is servant. Mm-hmm. And if we're not expecting those who lead in our community to serve us, then we're not getting what we need, from my perspective. Mm-hmm. And when I started with F Street and when we started, my husband and I, with work in our local community, there was no payout in the end for us. It was all volunteer, and it was all for the service of the community that we live in. People pay attention to that. That's really where I started and where people know me from. And I think that, again, that really informs how I have run every campaign since 2018. Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to people who are considering running? Because Plan Action does endorse. So we've read through close to 100 applications. And I will be honest, some people probably should have just volunteered on a campaign instead of trying to run for office. So what advice would you have to people, especially folks like you who helped reopen F Street and have been involved to run a serious winning campaign?
Well, I will say that every citizen of the United States has the right to run for office. Mm-hmm. That does not mean that you should. Mm-hmm. I go back to the two words, public service. And service means to me that you don't always need to be the person on the front. When we did F Street, I had no title. I wrote, I printed, we researched. I didn't have a title. And I'm not trying to use myself as some grand example. But the reality is you have to serve and be in the background and be a soldier, in my opinion, before you can be a good leader. Mm-hmm. Because when you are a soldier and when you are a helper, before you stick your neck out there, you get to see people's leadership styles, and that will help inform your leadership style. You will get to see what kind of work it really takes to get something like an F Street to go from 4 people in a room to hundreds of people every Monday at the West Las Vegas library. And I'm not kidding, nor am I exaggerating. We started with 4 people in a room. And we had to move out of that library into one of the local churches because we had done our work. We had pounded sidewalks. We had made phone calls. We had taken risks to speak very loudly and very boldly against the city of Las Vegas and the state of Nevada and some of our revered public servants. We had to risk it all to know what it meant to lead and to advocate truly for the community. When you're leading people, when you say you're going to raise your hand and you're going to be this office or that, I think it's important that you know those things, that you understand what it means to wear out a pair of tennis shoes, that you know what it means to scrap together a few dollars and make them stretch so that you can message, that you know what it means to get people to believe you, that you come to the community with honesty and clarity, and that you are listening to what people are telling you that they want. And often people run for office, and I've seen it too often, on national campaign, politics is local. And just because the national group, party, whomever is talking about something, if you haven't checked the pulse of your community to figure out if that's what's important to them, you're wasting time, money, and ink.
Yeah, definitely.
You're wasting. Because if you are engaged in your community, they will tell you what is important. You know as well as I do that housing has been the top issue for Nevadans, regular folks, since before COVID. It has been affordability. It has been access to affordable housing. It has been whether or not people are renting apartments that are crap and have mold and ceilings falling in and free-flowing insulation, water that comes through their pipes that is filthy, whether or not when they get to and are getting evicted that they have a fair shot. The main issue that we hear about in Ward 5, housing, all the time. And this has been top drawer issue, top drawer politics since before I was ever elected. We've got to deal with the issues of our community.
Yes.
Period. The national stuff is great, but if we are Nevadans and we're not serving the needs of Nevadans, what are you doing? And why would you vote for someone who is not fighting for the issues that impact Nevadans every day?
Yeah, period. Now that was kind of a lot of heavy stuff. So I want to ask, what do you love about election time? Because it is stressful. There's a lot of personalities. There's a lot of hard work, especially in a primary where it's been cool lately, but it's like 100 degrees and you're knocking doors. But is there anything you particularly love about this time?
I actually really enjoy knocking on doors. And I know that sounds crazy, but true story, when I ran for city council, we didn't have a lot of money. I just had a few bucks left over from my assembly stuff, and we were having a hard time raising money. And a lot of people don't know that in January of 24, I fell and had a concussion. Severe, was in the hospital for 4 days, the worst vertigo. I could not turn my head. It was crazy. That was like January 23rd. But we had already said we were going to start walking in February because when you don't have money, then you got to find a way to reach people. And my superpowers is the door. So we had our plan. We got our little flyers to put on the doors, and we started walking. I had to hold on to Carl, that's Carl with the K, hold his arm, and it was only 3 of us. And we got a few people to volunteer near June, but mostly it was just 3 of us. We did, I'm not going to tell our tea, but let's just say north of 4,000 doors between the second week of February and the primary.
That's amazing.
When you know what it is, it's important, then you know what to do. We went every day.
Yeah, you have to.
Even if it was only for an hour. Even when it was windy, and February that year was cold. Even when you don't want to. Our third leg of the triangle is a dear friend of mine. And on those days when I didn't want to go or my husband didn't want to go, she'd send a text and say, I'll see you in 30 minutes because you know where we're supposed to be. And we would meet up And sure enough, if I had a headache or I didn't feel well or, you get lethargic, it's a lot of work, folks. But the moment that I would put my pink tennis shoes on the ground and knock on that third or fourth door, man, the energy, because you get to see people. And I'm kind of a chatty Cathy, so I love that interaction. And to hear directly from people, my sidewalk is cracked.
Yeah.
The street light hasn't been on. Kids are running wild, or there's no park nearby, or my park is not well kept, or I'm in this apartment building and, Shondra, I'm having problems with my landlord. Those are the things that inform this work for me. And even when things are tough, when I can send an email and say to somebody, I need you to address this and get back with me and tell me what you've done. Is there anything we can do? Who do we connect people with? There is no better feeling to be helpful, to be able to have somebody text you back and say, thank you, this got fixed, or I was able to get with this organization and they were able to help me figure out this problem. I'm so grateful. Man,
Yeah.
I'd almost work for free.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It's just that important. So, I'm a sucker, but I love this. I love this stuff. I really do.
I love that. Are there any races in particular that you're watching closely? I'm not saying you have to endorse anybody, but for me personally, the Republican primary in Assembly District 41, have you been following that?
I have not. Who is that?
They are at each other's throats.
Oh, is that?
One person's name is Tofu, and the other person is somebody who moved into the district, but is supported by Lombardo. And there's blogs back and forth. There's paid ads on Facebook trashing. They are at each other's throats. I can't wait to see who wins that one.
So I'm going to just give an opinion. For those of you who are considering running for office, if you believe that the only way that you can win is to trash your opponent, I would strongly suggest that you not run for office. Because you are showing a character trait that people are going to remember forever.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I'll give you one. When I was in the assembly, there was a member who had been faithful, worked hard, and made a vote during the 2021, or proposed some legislation during 2021 that a big organization didn't like. And that organization supported her competitor with a bunch of money in the Democratic primary. And we were trying to defend people in our caucus who had done good work, right? You defend because that's what you do. But I even walk for my colleagues because I believe that this is a partnership, right? We work together. And I will never forget walking for this young woman in the heat. I don't know why it was so hot in May and June. And I wasn't even in Vegas. I was in Henderson. And y'all, my iPhone got so hot that it turned off. And I had to go back to my car and turn on my car and turn the air on and put my phone in front of the air to cool it off so that it would turn back on so I could use Van. And Van is the software that we use to figure out what door you're going to go to next. And now her competitor is running for another office. She's no longer in the assembly, but this person is now running for another office. There's no way in hell that I'm supporting that person.
Can't.
Because I remember that I was out in the heat, burning up, trying to defend a colleague who had done really good work because someone wanted to usurp someone, not because they had been in the community doing anything,
that part.
But because they wanted a position. And it goes back to what I said earlier. This is public service. And we should, in my opinion, begin our political careers being servants. Mm-hmm. That's how you gain traction. That's how you gain people start to like you or not. But at least it shows that you're willing to work. Man, that hurt my feelings so much. I see this person, I'm like, hey, I'm not I can't.
You can't. You have to have a conscience.
And maybe that's most of my problem, but I can't. So we've got to serve you all. I think that that's the part that we keep forgetting, is that when you are an assembly member, a city council, Clark County, whatever it is, any penny that is in your pocket that's part of that work that you do is coming from the very people that you're supposed to be serving. So they pay their taxes on food and on gas and all the things. That's how we get our little stipends and our little... And you can't serve them?
Yeah.
I have a problem with it. And I think that we need to get back to recognizing that we are servants of the people, first and foremost.
Yes. We are coming up a little bit on time. Not to rush you, but
I talk way too much.
No. I don't want you to think like, oh, God, there's more questions.
No,
but
it's all right.
I'm interested because there's a lot going on in Ward 5.
Yes.
We're in this beautiful brand new library. Stuff is going on at Nevada Partners. Lake Mead is always under construction. That's the one thing I complain about. Lake Mead and MLK.
It's almost over. September, October, it should be finished.
So what are some initiatives that you're working on that you think people would be interested in?
So the library was just finished. That's in Ward 5. On the border of Ward 5 and into North Las Vegas, Commissioner McCurdy has spearheaded a mixed-use development. The housing is almost done. I think there's about 70, I could be wrong, but about 70 affordable housing units. And then they're going to have maker spaces and incubator spaces at the bottom for small business.
Ooh, I like that.
And then we have the redevelopment and expansion at Nevada Partners.
Yes.
These things are important. Again, housing, what have we been hearing about? Housing and jobs. Historic West Las Vegas, which is just a small part, but an important part of Ward 5, has for decades had the lowest average incomes in all of Clark County.
Yes.
Less than $30,000. Sad. So the Nevada Partners expansion helps that community. But we also have the Westside Education and Training Center, which is a partnership with CSN, and they're doing training there. They have some medical arts, so phlebotomy, dialysis technician, what do you call this stuff? I just lost it.
Like medical.
That's right, medical arts. IT is in there. They have some. I had a moment. It's not going to come to me. It has to do with manufacturing. Okay. Some manufacturing technology out of there. I'm excited also that the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority has just entered an MOU with them to use their facility as part of their FLEX program, which is this Choice Neighborhood Initiative. You all know that Marble Manor is being rebuilt. Yes. And they're building all this beautiful housing, but they're also really trying to help their residents and the people in the community be self-sufficient and increase their ability to earn income. So the MOU with CSN will allow them to use the building for pre-apprenticeship training in construction arts, right?
Amazing.
So this is amazing. We also have brand new, the Comprehensive Cancer Centers just moved into Ward 5 in the Mulaski building. And we've been talking to them about doing training also at WETC with CSN to have their employees trained and then serve that facility because they will need people who can help administer the drugs that they're using to fight cancer. We've got another condominium complex going to be built in Ward 5 in Symphony Park. We have apartments there. I cannot say that they're affordable, but they are beautiful.
Oh, at Symphony Park?
It's Symphony Park. They're a little pricey.
They are beautiful, though.
Yes. But again, this is another level of income of people that can be part of our community. Neighborhood Housing Services of Southern Nevada is building townhomes on Jefferson and E. They will be coming to City Council very soon to get their final approvals. That will be affordable housing to sell right in the middle of the neighborhood.
Okay.
And then the city of Las Vegas sold Cashman Field, and the state sold the Grant Sawyer property to Lennar Homes.
Oh my God.
And they were just before us with their land use plan. And there will be over 1,000 units of affordable/attainable housing, townhomes and single-family homes at Washington and Las Vegas Boulevard. So stuff is happening in Ward 5. And I just encourage folks, if you moved away, if you have family ties in the community and you've always wanted to come back, I encourage you to take another look at Historic West Las Vegas. We are trying to create the vibe. To reinstate the vibe, to make Historic West Las Vegas a place that is culturally sensitive and is a homage to the past. The Good Word will be opening in the fall, which is on the first floor of Share Westside. And Share Westside is affordable workforce housing right across the street from the Westside Education and Training Center, better known as WETC. And the Good Word, it's a homage to New Jerusalem Worship Center that used to be on that spot, is going to have incubator space for food, for restaurants. It's going to have a bar that's going to be run by a well-known local business, a stage so that we can have music. So you can come to church on Sunday and afterwards go on over to the Good Word and get something to eat and stay. And we are working on all kinds of things that I can't say all, but trust me, y'all, when you get to the Good Word and after you eat, you will not want to leave, because we're trying to make sure that we have things to keep you engaged in that space. And so my thrust is that we continue to build housing, but that we double down on educational and job training opportunities so that the people who currently live in that community will be able to afford to stay and not just rent an apartment, but that we make opportunities for home ownership. What is the good of us doing all this work and creating this vibe in Ward 5? And then when a young person like my kids decide the apartment is all right, but I might want to, boo up. Right? We got to make sure that you've got a place where you can live and grow a family.
Yes.
If you haven't been by Ethel Pearson Park lately, roll by, get out with your basketball and your kid and go shoot some hoops. It's been repainted and resurfaced. There's new trees that have been planted. Nice. We have wrought iron fencing that has replaced that raggedy chain link on the D Street side. We've got Foursquare painted and Gaga ball pit. So it's less intense than when we played war ball on the street when we were kids. So your kids can go in there and play Gaga ball. And there's a soccer pitch. So we are trying to be thoughtful about what kind of community are we trying to build.
Yeah. Is there pickleball yet on the west side?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Lorenzi Park, I know. Lorenzi Park has 4 pickleball courts.
Oh, wow.
And the tennis courts are expanding. We're getting 3 more. Ooh. And they're getting a new administrative building there. So, look, I want this community to have parity with other communities. And you do that by putting your feet on the ground, talking to the community, know what they want, and what amenities are important to them, and trying our best to make sure that we put those things in place.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because I believe the first time I met you and why I was really interested in supporting your campaign is you talked about you want Ward 5 or Assembly District 6 to be the place where people want to come back and live and make a family. And I think that has a lot to do with kind of plans, political orientation, because at the end of the day, if you're talking about housing or immigration, utilities, people just want to belong. They want to feel like I have a choice of whether or not I stay, and not feel like, well, this is a community that doesn't have this, doesn't have that, so I'm being pushed out. And so that's obviously your self-interest, and that's what I admire about you, is that you're a politician who's also a real person and is very in tune to what the people of your district want and need. And so I know that's why we're canvassing now in your district, and people want to know, for the candidate we're canvassing for, they're like, well, who did Shondra Summers-Armstrong endorse? And so they're very interested in your opinion.
I'm not. I have come out for Assemblyman Jovan Jackson. He's succeeded me in the assembly, and I support him because he's the kind of guy who is boots on the ground. He comes from a perspective and a life experience that is in touch with what we fought so hard for in 2021. We wanted our folks who had been previously incarcerated to be able to vote. Mm-hmm. We fought to ensure that, I can remember we were over at on Owens and Jay, with Leslie and all of them, and had that big party inviting people who were previously incarcerated and allowing them to feel welcome, mm-hmm. and letting them know that your voice matters, your vote matters. We were out there in the heat. It was so hot. But this is my vibe.
Yeah.
And if you are trying to represent this community and you don't know what the struggles are of this community, why are you running for office here?
Yeah.
If you haven't figured out the whether or not the people who are supporting you have reached out into the community and offered their arm of support for people to get job training, why are you running for office? If the only thing you can do is to send out, and this is, again, what I said earlier about sending out mailers that are disparaging. Mm-hmm. Jovan is light-skinned than y'all. And some of the stuff that came out, mm-hmm. had darkened him to make him look sinister. Mm-hmm. Man, that does not fly with me. Mm-mm. If you don't have a message that you can speak clearly to the people without being hateful and mean, I just want you to know that, generally speaking, it doesn't work.
Yes. Thank you. So thank you so much for this robust conversation. I'm really looking forward to other people hearing it, providing feedback too. So I want more people to know about the good work that you do. Thank you to Hector and Salma, who produce What's the Tea After Dark. Make sure you check out Plan Action on Mobilize for all of the upcoming events we have. We will have on June 5th, Friday, a party at Doolittle Park with first-time voters, and also the NAACP, Las Vegas NAN, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated will be there, and we'll have free food and entertainment, and we want to celebrate voting. And so invite everybody to come out to that, especially you and Carl with a K. And again, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today.
I love this. Thank you for having me. And the work that your organization does is so important to our community. Folks, bring someone who has been disengaged, engage them and bring them out. And I'll try to be there on June 5th. And you can see me in the flesh with the red glasses, and we can talk about why I believe this is so important.
Correct. Thank you.
You're welcome.